Come on, Jack, get into it.
That's my neck.
Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Carre.
And I'm Matt Carre.
And this is Riding in Cars with Cars. So Matt, who are we going to pick up this week?
Well, today we have Jack Lumley and Tyson Leslie. They are both of 100 Airdrie Men Who Give a Damn.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it's an organization here in town, very similar to 100 Women That Care.
Right.
Where they raise a really great chunk of money and they present it to one charity and just makes a massive difference to the charity. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to get them in the car and hear more about it.
Well, we would like to welcome two of the 100 Airdrie Men That Give a Damn into the car today. Mr. Jack Lumley and Mr. Tyson Leslie, two of the starters of the program of 100 Airdrie Men That Give a Damn, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Welcome.
Awesome.
So what is 100 Men Who Give a Damn all about?
Jack?
Sure. What it's about is we try to get 100 Airdrie and district men together who are prepared to give $100 every quarter, because 100 times 100 is $10,000, and to a smaller charity, you can make a bigger difference in what they're trying to do. So what we do is we bring in, we have our members nominate 3 different charities once a quarter, and then we get together as a group. We normally have someone come in and be a guest speaker. We've had Corey Mace from the Stampeders come in. We've had Roger Millions from Hockey Night in Canada and the Calgary Flames come in. This time we're having Rob Kerr come in and just give a little bit of a motivational speech. There's usually a couple of beers involved and some food. A group or organization that won the time before, they come back, explain to us how the money's helped them, what it's done for them, and that type of thing. And then we have 3 worthy charities come up. They pitch on why they should be the successful participant, and then the guys vote, and we give $10,000 to the successful player.
We accept nominations for an unlimited number of charities, but we do a random draw and pick out 3 of them.
Oh, right. Perfect.
So we don't limit it to the first 3 that put their name up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not selected, do they go back in the bucket to be selected again, or how does that work?
Generally, they need to be renominated every quarter.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
When a small charity receives a cash infusion of $10,000, because a lot of times, again, as you said earlier, Jack, it's $50 here, $100 there.
Yeah.
What kind of impact have you seen when $10,000 goes into an organization like Project Linus, who was the very first recipient from the group?
They were probably the best example. They said that met their fundraising requirements for the next 5 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible to hear, and the excitement on their faces just takes that burden of worrying about how are we going to fund whatever's next.
Right. The other interesting thing about that time in particular was we had some people step up, and we ended up giving, I think it was $1,400 to each of the 2 other charities.
Yeah.
And that lady brought onions to the whole room because she said that was the biggest single donation they'd ever had. So in that one time, we were able to give 2 single biggest donations. One that was going to sustain that particular group for 5 years. The other one that probably sustained Hope for Hope for at least a year on its own. There was grown men in the room crying. It was...
Yeah, I was going to say, when Jack said they brought onions into the room, it was 100 Airdrie men and that give a damn crying. I was there. I remember it. It was quite touching. So it was awesome to see.
Start.
Yeah. And that was
scripted a better night.
Yeah.
And that was Billy Martin from Martin's Pest Control who put his hand up and said, "I give $1,000," and away he went. So that was
Billy
fantastic.
donated $1,000 each to the 2 charities that weren't selected, and then a number of other guys said, "Look, I've got $20.
Right.
Take my $20. Take my $20."
Yeah.
Holy cow.
There's 5 of you that run the organization, correct? 6 of you?
Yep.
Why did you 2 personally want to get involved in being a part of this?
Well, for one of the reasons that you mentioned, you donate to a charity, you give your $25 or $50 or $100, and you make a small impact. But wouldn't it be great if you could make a big impact? Mm-hmm. Something that you're never going to do on your own. You don't have $10,000 kicking around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gather together 99 of your closest friends and pick one, and then you can make a substantial, sizable donation, an impacting donation to that charity.
Right.
And we had talked about it, sort of bantered about it on Facebook.
We'd actually met about it a year previously, and we tried to do it through one of the Facebook groups in town, but that kind of fell apart. So it was always in the back of our minds. And then someone who hadn't been involved in that previous meeting suddenly said something on Facebook, and Tyson and myself and Keith Wilkinson kind of looked at each other and said, well, we'd been to that meeting a year previously. Here's another individual who wants to possibly join in. And then Todd Cunningham came on board to look after the Facebook page and that type of thing. And we were really short just one person to make it work, and that was somebody to run an actual web page. Mm-hmm. Keith was friends with Jason Bostic and called up Jason. And I think before the meeting was over, Tyson, he had the rough outline of the website already made up.
We hadn't even left the table.
We hadn't even left the table.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
so the six of us, I always say, you know, like when people ask us, how did the six of you get together? I think the group would fall apart if any of the six of us, you know, were to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Right?
Well, and the other
Is that-
one is David Bowman.
David Bowman, sorry.
another
David
one.
David was the sort of catalyst to Keith and Tyson
Oh,
and
okay,
myself, who had
gotcha.
already done it before.
Yeah.
And David said, hey, there's this group, I think his group was either out of Ontario or Grand Prairie, that he was talking about. And he said, boy, it'd be great for us to do something like that. And we said, well, let's get together, have a beer and talk about it. And we did, and the idea came to fruition.
Well, good on you guys for putting it together, because me and a couple of our friends had actually spoken about it as well, and then you guys came out with it. So because we kind of looked at it and said that's a lot of work. So good on you, the six of you, for putting it all together. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both of you have been in Airdrie for a while. So what brought you to Airdrie originally, Tyson, and how long have you been here?
So I was born in Calgary, but grew up in Crossfield.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time, obviously, in Airdrie growing up. And when I graduated high school, went to SAIT, moved into Calgary. After having kids, we decided that we liked the school system in Airdrie a little bit better. We wanted a smaller town feel, but working in Calgary, still wanted to be close to Calgary. I didn't want to get further out. Settled in Airdrie. Nice, quiet neighborhood. Just over here, actually. And that
There's
was
Tyson's house right there.
18 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what about you, Jack?
I grew up in Toronto. Don't hold that against me. I've been here since 1984, so I'm practically native Airdronian.
You've been in Airdrie since 84?
84.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, 34 years. I lived in Calgary, but I played hockey in Airdrie. And when you're a young buck like that, after hockey, you normally go out for a couple of pints and stuff. And I found myself, waking up in Airdrie. And I thought, you know what? It'd be way easier to just live here. So
I'm already sleeping here.
I'm already sleeping
here.
here. I might as well live here. I worked in the Northeast. It was an easy commute into the Northeast in those days. So I made the move mostly because of hockey.
So if you're from Toronto, are you a Toronto Maple Leaf fan?
Not for a second. Not for a second.
Right to the heart
Whoa.
again.
Not for a
Hey,
second.
Peter
Matt, you
Brown.
know.
talking
I had
about
to
the
live.
Habs.
I had to live through the Harold Ballard years.
So did I.
And he just ruined it for me. I'm sorry.
He ruined it for a lot of people.
He ruined it for a lot of people.
What's your top 3 Metallica songs? Oh, wow, look at that bass.
Right?
That is good. I feel like we should do squats to this or something.
Good workout song. Actually plays at the gym.
There you go.
Top 3.
Yeah.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, Dyer's Eve, and Fade to Black.
There you go. So you have luscious locks. Is this specifically for the headbanging? Or is this just works out?
It just works out that way.
Oh.
It just works out well.
Yes.
Well,
Jack, this is one of your favorites. Ridley Bent.
Yeah.
Why do you love this guy?
I don't know if it's ballads that he does, or every song is a story.
Okay.
And he uses a really good guitarist name. I believe his name is Chris Hall. And when Chris Hall starts to play guitar later, acoustic guitar, when he has like a solo later, it just blows your mind. But every song he does, just if you get into the words and stuff, it's a song that you can sing along to.
Johnny Cash, when I'm drinking on the Clash, when I'm thinking I'm Mad Max, when I'm driving on my diamond, when I'm rhyming, I'm Humphrey Bogart, when I'm smoking, I'm Bob.
coming up this Tuesday is your last meeting of the year. You guys want to give a few more details about it?
Sure. It's next Tuesday night. That's October 23rd at the Woodside Golf Course. Meeting starts at 7, but the doors are open between 5:30 and 6.
Okay.
If you guys want to come and grab a bite, grab a drink beforehand, socialize, kick off at 7 o'clock sharp.
Awesome. And we're going to have 3 different charities. You guys, I know you guys
three
don't-
awesome charities
3 awesome charities.
that are really going to use the money.
Awesome.
Promise you. Yep.
Quite excited about it.
Yep.
So 100% of the donations that are provided are given to the charity. There's no admin costs or overheads or things like that. Everything you donate goes directly back to the charity.
That's
Good
great.
for you guys. That's
Awesome.
great. Is there any advice that you would give the 3 charities that are going to present coming up next Tuesday?
Yeah, we actually, when we choose them and when we let them know, we give them 5 or 6 points that have been successful for other charities. So be as authentic as possible. The guys really appreciate it. If it's really near and dear to your heart, that you really have your emotions on your sleeves. We need to know what it's going to do for Airdrie and District. All the money needs to stay here, and it needs to make a positive difference in Airdrie. And we've had people come in and do PowerPoint presentations. We've had people come in and do skits. Like, just try to think of something outside the box that's going to get your message across and that's going to influence the members to vote for you.
If a man in Airdrie wants to join this particular group, can they just show up at the meeting next Tuesday, or what's the process for them?
They can show up at the meeting, or they can join our group on the website, airdrie100.com. There's a registration form there. You can fill out your details.
Okay.
You can submit a payment through there if you want to do a credit card payment. There's no obligation to come out to the meeting, no financial obligation. Come out and see what's going on. If you want to vote on the charity, you have to have donated. You can one donation or annual donation, $400. And we generally encourage people to pay or contribute 2 weeks prior, just so we can get the finances sorted out, make sure we know that night how much we have allocated. There's always guys that walk up and say, you know what, here's $100. I want to be part of this. And we just had it the next day.
And it's a great group. If you're new to Airdrie, come on out.
Yeah.
It's a very welcoming group. Lots of fun.
And are you guys on Facebook as well?
Definitely. The 100 Airdrie Men Who Give a Damn Facebook group.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
All the event details are posted there. There's a recap that's posted there, pictures of the events. Charities give their feedback and talk about what they've done as well. So yeah, definitely if you're on Facebook, get on the group.
And can you guys recap the charities that you guys have been able to help so far?
Last one was the Airdrie Health
Airdrie Health Foundation.
Foundation.
Yep.
Prior to that was Stevens Backpacks.
Yeah, that was great.
The January was
Block Parent.
Block
Block
Parent.
Parent.
And the very first one was Project Linus.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for everything you're doing with 100 Men Who Give a Damn. We know it's a lot of work on the back end to build up a charity, and you guys are doing amazing stuff. So thank you for your time and your energy.
Thank you. Thanks for having us out.
I mean,
Good thing I'm wearing a supportive brassiere.
your man's ear.
Your man's here. It's a bro!